Hello, lovely people. This is the Ed Talks About podcast, a podcast series talking about cosplay, comic con, and everything else. I'm your host, Eddie, and this week we are talking about where's Eddie? Where has Eddie been? Where has he been for the last God knows how long since the last podcast? I will be throwing in other things as well, but such as my plans for MCM London, when my schedule will go out. I need to do a video about that as well, but I will go a little bit in depth with that. I want to also talk about other things I had on my mind, but this is another solo podcast, and I think this is the reason why I've been missing for a few weeks, and it's more about I think I need to take a step back and just give myself a break, give myself time to breathe, and just rediscover why I'm doing all of this. I think I was like burning myself out again. I feel like I can't keep up with myself. I keep doing a lot of things, and I think for a moment for others rather than for me. So sorry, I've jumped way ahead again, and I probably should explain. So I'll be very real with you. I'll be very honest with you. I've not been in another good place. It's all personal. It's work related, and I've tried to departmentalize these things, but it's very hard at the moment. I can't seem to keep things separate. So so I just kind of retreated in myself, and I just wanted to give myself time to just get away with everything. So just things at work has just been very, for me, stressful. I won't go into details because one, I don't want to bore you through it, but two, I think it's work related stuff, so it's not really probably appropriate for me to share these things on a podcast. But I've been struggling a lot at work, both from confidence level, professional. I don't know what's but not my professionalism, but my, am I giving my best? Am I doing the best to the best of my abilities? But sometimes the working environment as well. There's a lot of factors that's been contributed to where I was a couple of weeks ago. If I'm honest, I'm still in that kind of mindset, but it's not as impactful as it was a couple of weeks ago. So I can grin and bear it a little bit more at work. But there's been a lot of changes, or just a lot of changes. We'll call it changes that are both positive and negative. In my eyes, some of it's been negative, and some of it's I feel like it's been out of my control, and there's some things that some languages used that I not particularly enjoyed, that's said around me or near me, and I'm sure it wasn't meant to be said in the way that was said, but I wasn't really really didn't feel like facing the world really, and try to create these content online and try to be happy and all that, and I don't think people wanted a version of me where I'm faking my appearance on these podcasts. And I know there's only a handful of people that listen to these podcasts, but I do appreciate you guys listening and just hearing me out. So it's a bit of therapy for me to talk some of this out loud. So that's kind of why I've been missing, is mainly because of that. But I will say that being missing from the internet, from doing these podcasts, it's given me time to actually catch up with my own personal self. So I've been actually using that time to edit as many photos as I can, and just catch up with myself, make sure that I don't have much of a backlog and all that. And of today, so I'm recording this on the 16th of March 2026. I hate to say this, but and I don't want to brag, but I'm actually photo backlog free. I've got nothing to edit. I'm free. I've done everything. I've even caught up with the MegaCon Live London photos. To be fair, that's by design. I didn't want to take that many photos at MegaCon Live. I've always said this, that not to say that me not getting a pass, of creator pass, press pass, whatever they want to call it, that was the reason I didn't take photos there. Probably was actually, but it's more that when MCM gives me a press or creator pass in the past, I felt like I was obligated to be working for them, to create content for them and things like that. Whereas if I buy a ticket, I feel like, well, no, I'm going as a punter. I'm going as a con goer. I feel like I should go and, enjoy the event as much as I can, and and just, go on my own time, do my own schedule. And I get that people like getting photos from me. There is a subject I need to talk about actually, which is probably another for another time. I need to write that down before I forget. But yeah, I've caught up with I've even caught up my photos with my other photography brand. So I have, and to be fair, I only finished like a week or two ago, I think, and that's why I'm like in a better place now to like start thinking about creating other contents and things like that. So I've been in a really good, happy place to start thinking about these things. But yeah, I have been missing from the internet for a while. I think it didn't help also that my website, when I was doing the transfer from one website platform to another, it took longer than I expected, and that kind of like really brought me down a little bit. But it's been going well recently. It's a lot smoother, a lot quicker, and I think some of the things I used to do on the website, which I had to abandon, I might put back onto the website now, see if the web traffic can actually handle it. I don't know if I should do my MCM schedule through that again or not, but I'll think about it and see if I can. I don't know what I can do to stress test my website. So that was another thing as well. But I've said this once and I'll say it again. I do find it incredibly hard now to find guests who either want to be on this podcast or find time to do the podcast. And again, this is not a slight on any of the guests who have asked and said no, or past guests and all that. Look, it was a lot easier 7 years ago to ask people to do these podcasts because we were all locked down, no one was going anywhere, so it was a lot easier. But now it feels like it's changed now. A lot of people are going out. People's lives have changed. Their circumstances have changed. They may not be doing cosplay anymore. Things have changed. So I appreciate that. I really do. So I don't, like I said, I have to start thinking and inviting different guests onto the podcast. Again, I find it hard because I've got to then think and guess if they will be good for the podcast. If I can get along with them, or people who would listen to them will be enjoying it. If you, it's these are things I have to consider and think about. So that's been another like downhill reason why I've not been doing podcasts, because again, it just feels like, when I ask that, it's always something in the way that makes them go, oh, I can't do this. I'm like, that's, which is fine, absolutely fine. But like I said, it just makes it a little bit more difficult to like be motivated for it. But I've got 1 or 2 podcasts in the pipeline, not been recorded yet, but hopefully they will be recorded soon. I did have a plan when I was going to record these, how I was going to record them. Well, schedule wise, I was like gonna like do over a weekend, record 2 podcasts. Either with guests or no guests, and then just pump them out weekly still. So there's something going out still, but yeah, it's I need to get back into that rhythm, but even I'm now thinking about, again, this is not I'm going to quit a cosplay photographer. This is not me saying that, but I have started to reevaluate where I belong in this community now. Where do I fit? And is coming more and more evident now that the cosplay community is starting to move past me. I'm not being carried with it at times. I hope that's not the case. I hope that's not, but I also hope that there is still a place for me in the community. I've been in this community for so long now. So I will admit it's a huge part of my identity, and to lose that part of me, I think I would. There'll be something in me that will go, oh, like that. Oh, I wouldn't want to be seen to be like, I don't mind people not knowing who I am. But it's that, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's just that I've always said I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be. I don't want to be. I don't want people to be like, just like chasing me down or something like that, or like weirding me out. I know I weird other people out, but I don't want people to weird me out. So, if I get to a point where like no one wants to shoot photos of me, I'm like, oh, okay then. And it kind of happened, kind of like that in when I was at VinCon last year, but it was only during the evening time where I really wanted to do some night photography with my lights, but no one wanted to like shoot with me or didn't have time for me, which that kind of like gave me a real, what's the word? I did feel a bit despondent by it. I just really, just had a bit of a downturn through it. So I was like, oh, okay then. And I thought that might have been the beginning of the end for me. But, I could also use this opportunity to say, this is this could be a good point to reinvent myself, to push forward, and, change things about myself. So yeah, So I have been around. I have been still posting things to my website, but only photos. I was meant to like write a weekly, get back to writing blog posts, which might relate to the things I talk about on the podcast and some of the podcasts I'm about to record later in the week. So there's a written version of it as well as a podcast version of it. They might relate to each other. I think I joked to myself, I was like, this podcast called Ed Talks About, I might call it Ed Types About. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I've had a few friends or some people just drop me a message. I really do appreciate people just reach out to make sure I'm okay. I'm still around, which is always good to hear, and people still include me in things. And I just recently sent out the photos from MCM Live London, so it's always good. So I'm happy when people love their photos and I get a good reaction from them as well. Right, so that's sorted. Ooh. I don't even hear that. So I just heard this really loud rumble noise. I wonder if it's someone's car, but if you didn't hear that, that's fine. But I did, so hence why I had to react to it. I was going to use this as when they do that thing and like the top 5 when you watch those videos, the top, here's the top 5 of this list, and the last one, well, you'd kick yourself for not knowing. I was going to do that for the MCM London stuff, but I thought, no, I wrote this down in a certain order. I'm going to keep it in a certain order. So MCM London. I don't know if anyone watched I did a couple of weeks ago an Instagram Live, and I kind of started talking about MCM London, and I think that was the week I found out that I've got a creator pass again for May. So I really do appreciate again to Brepop / MCM for allocating a creator pass to me. I always appreciate it, and as I mentioned, I feel like I'm on a job. I'm trying to do things for the event, so I'm on the clock for them. I work for. I think about it as like I'm working for MCM, and as I said, create content for them, and bring people to the event and all that. That being said, I should talk about my schedule. So I think going forward now, I experimented this last year, May, I kind of by accident did a schedule sorry, my mind's all over the place. I got invited to do a panel in May for a friend, and they said, "Hey, Eddie, you do podcasts?" And I said, "Yeah. Do you want to do a version of that on the live schedule?" Oh God, yes. But also like, no, I'm like scared to be on stage. But again, this is for my confidence about stage fright. I wanted to do it just to say I'd done it, I can do it, and things like that. So so I was able to go on stage and do a live version of the podcast. There's a funny video of me moments before the podcast, the stage panel started, that I tried to open a bottle of water and just tipped the whole thing over my body, which is, you can find somewhere on my TikTok or on my Instagram. Probably easier on my TikTok actually. That went, but because I had the panel on the Saturday morning, I had to like rearrange how I did my days, and because I usually have like the Friday to myself and then start photography about late Friday, and then all day Saturday, all day Sunday. But I found that weekend I really struggle a lot of things with the crowd levels and all that. But I think doing something a little different that weekend actually gave me the spark of inspiration to like go, okay, in October, let's do a full day schedule on a Friday and then have a day to myself on Saturday. Yes, I know it's the most busiest day, but at least I'm not trying to fight the crowds outside of taking photos. I can do things indoors. I did some videos which I finally got online earlier this year when I was just kind of like interviewing stall owners, like the artist alleys, and do that, which I'm going to do again, because I think some people really enjoy that it's not just cosplayers I do that pass the question on as I do with the stall owners, because I think they're also part of the Comic-Con scene. It's always good to like see other people get involved in my videos. But doing something, having a Saturday to myself, doing that, and then a Sunday full schedule. I don't mind kind of giving up my time for the Friday and Sunday for that. I know a lot of people want to bring in their top A game cosplay on a Saturday, but I found Saturday just too difficult for me to really work with the environment, work with the venue, and work with Excel stroke MCM, especially with all the rules now. If you're unaware, you're not supposed to be taking photos outside of the barriers. Security will stop you and they'll ask you to move inside. I can't remember if I have mentioned it or if I discussed it. I don't know why that's a rule. I can't remember if someone's told me about it or not, and if they have, I've forgotten it. But for me, from a personal point of view, it really restricts me. If I had to guess why that rule is there, because I think maybe a lot of the people who work or live around that area, I think us cosplayers take up a lot of space, a lot of room. It's blocking pathways and things like that. We've taken the mickey about the space out there, and I don't blame actually, the residents complaining about us cosplayers, taking over the area. I think sometimes we can be a bit selfish and just forget that this piece of land is for everyone, not just for us. But I digress. Anyway, so I kind of did that schedule in October, the Friday and the Sunday of like bookable shoots, and that really worked well for me that weekend. So I'm gonna repeat it again. I'm gonna have a bookable Friday, a bookable Sunday, and then Saturday to myself. I'll keep myself busy on Saturday. Don't you worry. A few caveats to the booking schedule. The usual thing is that if you can book as many slots you want on either days, but if you book multiple slots, because how limited my time will be and how many slots I'm offering to people, I will relinquish slots to cosplays that don't quite interest me. So if you, for example, if you put in, shall we say three slots, I don't know why you put 3 down, but 3 slots. Of the 3 cosplays that you tell me which one you want, I'll decline 2 of them, because I don't think it's fair that many people want to shoot with me, and if one person is able to take up a lot of time with me, they weren't able to shoot with me, and I think that's not fair. I think let others have a chance to shoot with me, because I know how hard it is to find photographers to shoot with. I know how hard it is for photographers to say yes to cosplayers. And this goes both ways as well. But I'm talking from a photographer's point of view. That I know there's a lot of photographers out there who are very, very, very picky about who they shoot, who they want to work with, and things like that. And I've always said, I'll if you've got cosplay that you're happy to shoot with me, I'll take a picture. I'm more than happy to do so. Not to say that there's things that I would like to shoot. Of course, there's loads of cosplays and stars I'd love to shoot, but I'm not always going to get it my way. And and as I said, I want to be able to be of service to the cosplay community. And and I'll say it again: if you got cosplay that you like and you want me to shoot it, I'll be there. But because how limited my slots are, I want to limit the slots one per person. Even if you book multiples, I will decline them. So please do not take it personally when I decline it. It's more about trying to offer those slots to more people, so so they can get some photos out of me, things like that. So that's one of the thing. You need to be over 18. That's another thing. Do you know what? I probably should actually got my notes out for this. There are other caveat rules. Let's see if I can find them. Hang on. Need to load up my website. I don't know if this is going to crash my computer. Let's load this bit up. I don't even hear the clickety clackety of my mouse, but at least this is happening in real time. Do I need to log in? Of course I need to log in. And I'm in. I had to take a little break just so that you won't just listen to air. Because literally I was just clicking here, clicking there, and just doing that. Hang on, here we go. So, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm not doing group shoots. The most I might do is duo, but even that I might say no. The reason for that is that I get, I won't say who, because it's not fair on them. But there was a group of people that I weren't familiarised with the show, and I just find it hard to like make it look good with a lot of people in I think in this group there's 4 of them. At times I think I was reflecting back on it and thought, wow, this looks like more of a police lineup than an actual photo. And I'm not doing the group any justice, so I won't be doing that. Yes, the one thing, that's it, I was just rereading because I want to make sure I did write this in. I did. I wanted to make sure that when people book with me, I want people to book with me with essentially brand new or different cosplay that I've never shot with me. It's happened a few times in the past where some cosplayers will come up back to me and book me, and I would go, haven't I not shot this before? And that they will say, oh no, but I was missing, I was missing this, or some other reasoning, and I think I'm getting to a point now where I'm going, I felt like I did the best that I could the first time around. I don't know what more I could do, and things like that. And I mean, there may be an exception if it's a totally new rebuilt cosplay of that character, and it's there are significant changes to it, upgrades and things like that. I might consider that. If it's minor stuff, I might decline it because, like I said, I think essentially I want to be challenged. I want to make sure that my portfolio is as as new and diverse as possible, and I don't want to be seen to be shooting either the same characters or the same cosplayers all the time, and shooting the exact same cosplay or minor change, I think kind of falls into that now. You might disagree with me and all that, but I've got to think about myself and think about the portfolio that I show to people, and I want to show I have a wide ranging people, and I'm counting on you cosplayers to help me out with that, and like I said, to achieve that, I want to make sure that the the things that you request to me is something that I'm going to be equally invested in as well. So please bear that in mind, that if I've shot something before and it's only like literal and I mean minor changes, I might decline it. If there are real big changes to it, then that's different, and I will shoot it and things like that. So those are the rules. You want to hear a date, don't you? You want to hear a date when the schedule go out. I've penciled in at the moment Monday, the 27th of April, at shall we say 6 p.m? Let's say 6 p.m. 6 p.m. That'll get me. Hopefully, I will have left work by then, and I can keep an eye on it from that day onwards. So, actually, I didn't even check if that's like a special day or not. Let me just check my diary. 27th. You probably already know this. Looks like I don't. Oh, I've got lots of things happening that week though. Haha. Or the week before. What's that? Oh no, I understand. Yes. So yeah, 27th of April, 6 p.m. I'll do another. I'll do a dedicated video of this on my TikToks and Instagram and stories, and so you can keep an eye on it and listen to it. And I'll reiterate a lot of this more succinctly in that little part. But you got first dibs to hear this, so put in your diaries now. 27th of April on a Monday, 6 p.m. That's when my schedule will go out. I will post on all my social medias where you can click on the link and book me for a shoot. And remember, it's only for the Friday and Sunday. So that's that out of the way. What else can I talk about? I want to talk some things that I've either had I've been so recently. I went to the photography show in Birmingham NEC, and I've always wanted to go to this photography show, but I've never been able to go for either reasons that are so stupid to me now. I don't know why I've never been, but basically, I think because I didn't want to go on my own. That was the main reason. A friend of mine, friend to the podcast, Kevin Pack, he invited me up. He said, "Look, I'm going to the photography show. Do you want to go in?" Do you know what? Let's do it. At least I got someone to go with me. I didn't have to be alone. I didn't want to be out of my depth, really. And I was able to really enjoy the show. Things I don't usually do, but I actually might do more next time I go. I actually attended some panels for some photography panels, and there was one that really inspired me, and I think this is something that I've been really struggling is I should actually get their name. So there's one creator named I'm going to butcher the name, aren't I? I'm really bad with names. So Tamara Gabriel. They are an online presence. They talk about photography and things like that. I feel like I've watched one or two of their videos before, and they were talking about how they, in a sense, challenge themselves to like make videos online, and how they thought they needed, the top of the line studio lights and camera and a studio this and all that. And actually, I think once you get out of that mindset and actually tell yourself to lower the threshold, lower the barrier to how to get these things online, to get a video online, making videos actually becomes easier. And that's my biggest issue I have about creating content when I'm on my own, is what do I do? What do I create and things like that? And part of their service they do is they have a 30-day challenge where you just you read so they'll send you an email and give you a challenge to do, and they'll tell you the instructions what to do. So they would say, here's a generic question with blanks that you need to fill in. Record this for 1 minute, upload it. Don't edit it, just put it online. I've only got 1 or 2 of the emails so far, and I plan to like batch record some of these and get them online. So there's something I want to like do for myself, is to do these this 30-day challenge. So please keep an eye out for that from me. But there was a really good panel about that, and there was another panel about like how to edit BTS behind the scenes videos on your phone, but it turned out to be just a tutorial how to use Adobe Premiere on the phone, and I kind of knew everything that you could do that, but via CapCut. So I felt a bit let down by that. I thought they were going to talk about like how to shoot this, shoot this angle, do this, do that. But no, it's more about how to edit a video. I'm like, I think most people know how to do that. I could be wrong. And I said I've done a lot of editing. I say editing. I know how to edit. I'm not saying I know how to edit well, but I know how to edit. And there was another one about how to, I think, like edgy alternative photography, which kind of like lends itself to the other photography brand I have. But I think I like that one a lot because it made it a little bit more accessible how to shoot in a home studio, which I keep saying I want to do this, but I keep forgetting. But now I think this year's the year that I'm going to try to do some home photography. Invite people to my home and see if people want to shoot photos that way around. Have an inexpensive studio. But saying that, there's another thing on my list, but I'll come to that about the studio. But yeah, I really enjoyed my time at a photography show, and I think next year when it's in London, apparently it alternates between venues. So this year it's in Birmingham NEC, next year it's in XL, then it reverts back to Birmingham. I probably will go for maybe 2 days at the photography show, sit through a few more panels. I will admit another reason why I went is that I like picking up free swag, and I picked up a few good, nice tote bags, I would have said. And again, I pick up these tote bags and go, I'm going to use these, and then go, it's a bit too nice though. Probably won't use them after. In the end, I'll just save it for a really special occasion. What that special occasion, I have no idea. So yeah, I really did have a real nice time at the photography show. I will suggest that if you're a aspiring photographer or even an experienced photographer, go to these events. You never know what you might find. Oh my god, I must share this story. Oh god, no, this is bad on me. So for anyone who knows me or have seen the equipment I have, the one thing I'll always boast about is I love my Peak Design everyday backpack. I think that's the best designed backpack for me. I'm not saying for all photographers, but that backpack is designed so well for me. The way that how I work, how I want to work, how to get in and out of my stuff, I just love it. It's the best bag I've ever had for cameras, and I can't be convinced otherwise. I don't like the backpack where you have to set it on the floor and then unzip the back part of it to then, lift up the back part to get to your camera. That type of backpack I don't like. The one that I got from Peak Design, you open it from the side so you can still hang it off your body, unzip it from the side, pull out your camera, and off you go. Now, I have fallen foul to the side pocket camera zip, where maybe twice things have fallen out and twice things have broken, especially my expensive 70 to 200 mil lens, which I did that in New York Comic Con. I will admit that day my heart cried. I was stunned, but at least I still had my normal 50 mil lens. Sorry to talk about camera tech talk. Primarily what I'm saying is that the lens that I can use more or less for everything was okay. The one that's like very kind of specialist type of lens. The way that I use it was broken, and at least I could still use my normal everyday lens at New York Comic at the time, and I have replaced it since. And like I said, that side zip 90% of the time has worked well for me. Just the 1 or 2 times, which is my own fault, not Peak Design, that things are falling out. But I love their bags, and I kind of wanted to not say upgrade it, but I kind of wanted to get a different bag, and one thing that Peak Design is very, very well known for is how expensive they are. I think one of the reasons why expensive, because they do come with a lifetime guarantee. So if something ever happens to it, you'll get it replaced. So so the backpacks, I've got 2 of the backpacks. First one, basically the side zip, it was starting to buckle. It was starting to like open on its own. It would even if you zipped it to the top, in the middle it'll start bursting open. I'm like, oh, I don't want things to slip out because of this this occurrence that's happening to my bag. So I sent an email off to Peak Design. After a few emails, they went, yeah, sure, have a new bag. I went, oh, thank you. So that's my lifetime guaranteed sorted. And I don't know if I can claim another bag should this current one break, but I do look at it and I think it's a bit of an old grey bag. I kind of want to spruce up a little bit. I kind of want a bit more fancy look to it. So I think it was Kevin's actually idea, was to say, oh, let's go to the Peak Design Center. I went, oh yeah, I love Peak Design, let's go. And I saw the bag that I really, really want. And they looked at me, I looked at them, I looked at the bag, they looked at the bag, started talking to me, trying to upsell a lot of things. So he said, look, you can't do this to me, you can't do this. And basically it got to the point where I asked how much it was, then she wrote out the order form ready to go. Just take this to the counter when you're ready, so you don't have to come back here. I was like that. I was like very begrudgingly, but I did well. I resisted. I didn't buy the bag, so I did not spend much money, if not any money, at the photography show. I did spend money at the photography. I bought 2 collapsible like seats or stalls for myself. I'm going to use those mainly at studios. Might take one to Comic Con, but they're mainly for me to use at studio, so that I can just stand up taller for a fraction of a second. So I can get some height in my photography. But yeah, just to close off the Peak Design, and I am truthful when I say I didn't spend any money on Peak Design at the photography show. But I did end up backing their recent Kickstarter for their 2-in-1 rucksack, travel rucksack, which kind of like, what's the word? Gives me everything I need in a backpack for traveling. That one. If you're interested, I'll try to put the link into the podcast description if I remember. But I looked at that bag and went, oh, this kind of solves a lot of issues that I have about travel for like short European trips and things like that. Oh, I need to talk about that one of these days, my European trip. I will do that as another solo podcast later in the year, I think. Definitely before April, because that's when it's happening. That is... So the photography, yeah, it's really good. I think, what else did I do? There's a lot of equipment there. Obviously, you can test out and buy some lights and things like that. Oh my god, I almost bought some more inflatable lights and things like that. I need to one day. I think part of my not 30-day challenge, but part of the video series that I might try to record for myself to put online is just basically go through each equipment, spend like 1 or 2 minutes explaining why I've got this particular equipment in my bag, and why. Why it stays in my bag, because I've got some stuff that's sitting elsewhere, in a different storage area, just to keep it all in one place. But also, what's the word? It hardly comes out with me to like Comic-Con days and things like that. So I can talk about what goes into my camera bag, what comes to me on a studio day, and things like that. So that's a video series. I need to write this down. I keep forgetting to write down these things. I need a note taking app. But yeah, so what else? So yeah, I almost bought some more inflatable lights, but these were RGB lights, inflatable lights, which I think if I bought these would solve a lot of issues that I have about not having the right equipment when I need it, where I need it at Comic-Con. So yeah, we'll see about that. So yeah, that's sorted. What else did I see? I can't remember. Yeah, but there's a lot of new toys out there that I wanted to I played with, and like I said, it's like little mental notes here and there that I might buy and things like that. But we'll see, and going forward, like I said, we'll see. So yeah, photography show, really enjoyed it. Definitely recommend if you're a budding photographer to go. Yeah, and yeah, that's all I can say. I wish I can give people a discount code for next year. I kind of do have one, but I don't know where. I don't know where it went. Oh, I found it. Hang on. What does it say? It does say for everyone who visited 2026, it gets you got to sign up. I'll sign up for myself and see how it goes. Anyway, so that's that. Last thing I want to say is that I think I like to get back to more. I didn't do one last year because I was doing something else, some other photography shoot day in April. I tend to do a studio day for my cosplay stuff every April, but I kind of gave it a miss last year. I'm kind of giving it a miss this year, but I might actually do another studio day in May. Up in Stockport, a studio called Montrose Studio. I love that studio. I think it's got really nice big bay windows, natural light. There's some nice sets that are not too corny, not too specialist. You can use a lot of things with a lot of things, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try to organise that with a few cosplayers that I would like to work with, more than half an hour at a Comic-Con. See how it goes. I just got to think of the right people, the right sets, see what cosplays they can come up for it, and go from there, really. But yeah, I like to do that for myself in May. It's a very short turnaround. As I said, today's the 16th of March. Only really leaves me about about 6 weeks to plan, organise, and then do it. And also it's like a couple of weeks before MCM London, so I don't know how feasible people want to spend money a couple of weeks before MCM London, but we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, it's just nice to be able to do. I like studio shoots. They really are fun to have. And if you've never been on a studio shoot, by all means, I would definitely suggest to go to find a local or nearby, or a studio that you want to shoot at. The last studio shoot I was for my other brand, which is called Neon Dreams Studio, and that was it's such. I would say a photographer's dream studio with lots of interesting backgrounds, a lot of lighting effects type of things. So you got, what I mean by that is you can shine a light on a one of those disco shimmering curtain type of walls, things like that. Then you had what else? There was a 60s disco corner. We didn't really use that. There was a corner with Malar on it. There was a graffitied wall, but I think it was a backdrop rather than an actual graffitied wall. They had a infinite white wall. They had a few equipments that we could have. I wouldn't say more props than equipment that we could use to enhance the photography experience, and I used every opportunity where I could to make things different for myself. But obviously, the reason it's called Neon Dream Studio is because they've got two neon walls that you can shoot against. And oh my god, I was in heaven. For those who don't know, I have an alternative photography brand. It's very latex fetish fashion type of photography brand. And the model I was with wore quite a bit of latex, and the shine on the latex with the lights of the neon really, really worked with each other so well. I was so happy and buzzing. Oh my god! And that's what I'm saying, that these type of shoot days really are. They can be very special. And like I said, at a Comic-Con, I feel like you have to, I'm not saying be quick for your time, but I'm very aware of the time, that I don't want to be taken away from cosplayers too much and too often. I don't want to be one of those photographers who, say they're going to be at an event, but take the cosplayers away from, the event just to like circumvent the rules, and then charge for it. Wouldn't want to point fingers out who that person could be. God, I sound so bitchy. I really sound so bitchy, but that's another podcast I should revisit. I have mentioned it before, and anyway, that's for another day. But studio day, yeah, I really do. If you can organise a studio shoot day with friends, get a photographer, invite a photographer, or just be a photographer yourself, I honestly just do it. They are so much fun. You will not regret it. You can take your time at a studio shoot. You don't have to rush around. You don't have to, like I said, plow through so many people. You don't feel like you're wasting people's time. But also, when you've paid for a studio event, you're more focused. You know what you want to do. You don't want to kind of like waste that money, waste that time when you're at a studio shoot. So it feels more what's the word? More focused. I think that is. More. You're more determined to get some really nice pictures. And then, like I said, if you're in a studio, you're going to get different photos to where you've taken photos at Comic-Con, because I keep saying this, taking photos at Comic-Con, everyone's getting the same look, everyone's getting the same location, everyone's getting the same more or less style type of thing, and you won't get photos in front of that goddamn grey walls. As much as I love those grey walls, god no. Anyway, just hurt saying that aloud. That was sarcasm, by the way, just in case anyone who didn't know that. So yeah. Actually, can I mention one last thing? I'm going to end the podcast soon because it's getting quite late for me, and I would like to get some sleep. It's not been 100% confirmed, but I think I'm almost there. So I mentioned about going to MCM this coming May, and I'm shooting photos on the Friday and the Sunday, and Saturday's my time. The Saturday I might be doing another panel at the event. I don't want to say what I'm doing, who's with me, and what time of the day, but all I can say is that I'm so close to confirming that I'm doing another panel at MCM London, and if it goes through, I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be a different format to how I did it last year, and I hope people will be more excited by this one. I hope I'm trying to get more student participation for this one. So yeah, once I know, I'll either do another podcast saying it, do another video about it. I'll probably do a post about it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing another panel at MCM London. So I just want to quickly mention that before I forget again. And it's getting late. I want to go to sleep, so I'm going to disappear now. But thank you for listening. Hopefully it won't be too long to the next podcast. Fingers crossed it won't be too long. But yeah. Anyway, if you need to, I'm going to sign off. What do I usually do at this point? I usually tell you my links. So if you go to foodandcosplay.org/links, that's where you find my all my social media links, such as Instagram, Blue Sky, Threads, and other social medias, Facebook. If you go to foodandcosplay.org, generally, you find cosplay photos, some articles. There's a lot more older articles that you might be interested in. And where else do I go? There's a Patreon, so some of the 30-day challenge videos might go up there first before it goes on to them. But like I said, I'm going to I might actually put videos up there first, see how that goes before going on to mainstream, go from there really. And but yeah, there is a Patreon. I need to get back into doing more personalized videos. Like I said, there's video series called Raw Unedited, which is a very, very personal account of things that's happened into my life. So kind of like that first 10 minutes is kind of what I kind of do for my raw and edited, but a little bit more deeper, a little bit more honest with you guys. And then yeah, that's it really. So hopefully you won't wait too long for the next podcast and going for it won't be weekly, but I'm going to try to be a bit more regular with my podcast schedule where I can now. Okay, so thank you very much for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye.